Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today, Shir should be Le'ilu Nishmas, our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka Bas Gavriel Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dov HaKohen, and B'schus L'Refuah Shalema Bekarov Meshalem ben Sarachel, Miriam Basara, and Yair Yeshia ben Chaya Atara. Today, we are on page 296 in the Aura Vigda for those who are following along. And we are going to be finishing off the fourth of the 7 categories of Bitachon. So when we started a little while ago talking about the different categories of how, where and when you're supposed to have Bitachon, there's 7 categories, 7 main categories. And this category that we're finishing off talks about those things that we do with our limbs and with our heart, meaning things that we alone do, and they affect us only. Meaning, if you do the mitzvah, you get schar. If you do the avera, you get the avera, but it doesn't affect other people. And that's what this category is about. And so, we're going to finish this off strong. We're talking about Dovid HaMelech, and when Dovid HaMelech is asking two bakashas, 2 requests from Hashem. The first one, he asked Hashem that he shouldn't have any distractions in when he goes to do the things that he chose to do. That the world, once he makes a decision to do something good, that the worlds, shouldn't interfere into what he was trying to accomplish. And the second one, he asked of Hashem to give him the energy. Sometimes we want to do a mitzvah. We want to go somewhere, but we don't feel well. We're under the weather. We're not physically able, or we don't have the money to do it. That's also part of it. Like, we want to do the mitzvah, but we need more money in order to get that mitzvah done. So you're asking Hashem, I want to do this mitzvah, I want to do this, but the request from Hashem is not that the will to do it, but the assistance. And the assistance is to just carry it out. And so he finishes off like this, V'kol zeh ra'ah. All this is proof that David's choice was to act of avodah achis fal lekim al shnei advarim. He asked Hashem for 2 things. One of them was that Hashem should help him maintain his single-mindedness, meaning he should come up with a decision and not change it. By keeping worldly distractions away from his heart and his eyes, like it says over there in Tehillim, let my heart be undivided in reverence in your name. And Rabbi Vigdal says the world can bring all kinds of, phantom ideas to you when you're trying to do something, and especially when you're trying to do something good. The Yetzer Hara finds his way how to cut all these different things into your mind. And then it also says, unveil my eyes that I may see your wonders of your Torah. And that Dovid HaMelech is telling Hashem, I've chosen to study the Torah, just unveil my eyes so that I can see the deep meaning of the Torah. We know that the Torah is very, it's not elongated at all. It's very cryptic in ways. So Dovid HaMelech is asking Hashem to open my eyes so he can understand it better. And then he says, avert my eyes from seeing futility, that the mere sight of false things distracts the person's mind from the truth. And once a person trusts something that is wrong, it's very difficult to go back to the truth because you have some weight in that, fake thing. And so he's asking Hashem, make sure that, avert my eyes from seeing futility. I shouldn't see it to begin with. If anything is false, don't let me ever see it. Then he says, incline my heart to your teachings, and the like. So the first of the requests that he asked from Hashem is that for his mindset. Don't make sure that my mindset doesn't change. I want to do the right thing. I chose a path how to do it. I'm asking you, Hashem, to please help me stay on that path. The second thing Dovid HaMelech says, the second request that Dovid HaMelech asks of Hashem is to strengthen his limbs and give him the energy to carry out all these good things that he wants to do for Hashem. And sometimes a person, like we just said, sometimes a person doesn't have that strength, doesn't have that ability, doesn't have the resources. And so the tefillah over here that he's asking from Hashem is not that he should help me choose the right thing. I chose the right thing. Just help me get there. Help me produce that. I need the assistance, the physical carry me, the money to get me there, whatever, the intelligence, the knowledge, the right people, the right resources to get there. And he just says, cause me to walk on the path of your mitzvahs and give me the energy to follow up on all the good intentions that I had. So Adeni ve'vasheya, support me and I will be saved. And there's many, many more things like this. And the final observations over here, he says over here, he says, in due time, I'm going to explain what we just talked about, all these different distractions that might come up. In the next parak, we're going to see, not right away, but in the next parak, in the one after, we're going to see these different distractions that Dovid HaMelech is talking about, that when you come to doing something, how you are supposed to have Bitachon in those distractions, that they shouldn't come, just fall into play, and then you lose sight of everything that goes on. Before we finish off this week, I saw something beautiful. And we see this week by Lavan, that there was, Yaakov Avinu. He gets tricked by Lavan. He's tricked by Lavan into marrying Leah, not Rachel, and then later on he marries Rachel. But then what happens is something very interesting. After the 14 years of duty, of service that Yaakov gives for Lavan, after all the trickery and everything, he's ready to leave. And Lavan comes over to him and tells him something very interesting. Lavan tells Yaakov, I figured out the secret to my wealth. He says, Hashem blessed me because of you. That's the secret to my wealth. Something super interesting. You take Lavan, he's a good for nothing, and all of a sudden he throws in Hashem in there. What's up with that? Like, why are you not figuring out a different way how to con Yaakov Avinu into staying the same way you con him the other times into working for you for 14 years? Yaakov Avinu answers him to that question, to that statement. What does he tell him? He says to him, you know how I have served you and what your livestock were with me before I came. So you know the growth that it had. He said, for the little that you had before I came has expanded substantially as Hashem has blessed you with me coming over here. And now, when I also do something, when is it going to be for me? So think about it for a second. What's Yaakov Avinu trying to say over here? Yaakov Avinu is basically saying something a little bit different than what we've learned recently. What we've learned recently is that we can't take credit for things. Why can't we take credit for things? Because we know that Hashem sends everything. So why is Yaakov Avinu all of a sudden telling Lavan, whoa, before you throw in Hashem over here, what about me? Like, I'm the one, before me, it was nothing. So don't throw Hashem into here, just say me. So it's a very interesting question as to why Yaakov Avinu throws this out there. So he says over here that there's something very important in life. The important part of life when it comes to understanding and what we've learned, showing gratitude towards Hashem. We know when someone does a favor for you, we thank the person, but we know we give gratitude to Hashem because Hashem is the one that provides that resource. He just uses someone as the conduit, as the shaliach, as we spoke, the messenger. Yaakov Avinu is trying to point out of here something even more important. Before any person could learn the importance and how to be grateful to Hashem, being that Hashem is something that we can't conceptualize, we need to first learn gratitude on something that we can't conceptualize. And so what he's saying over here is just like by Paroi and Moshe Rabbeinu. Paroi over there says he lost the... Yosef was the one who helped out with the hunger, with the pharaohs. Then there's a new pharaoh that came along, and then he lost all thoughts, and he didn't remember the favors, and so he put the Yidden in Gullus, and he made them work hard. And Moshe Rabbeinu was very complete opposite, where he had gratitude towards people. So we see in history that when people lose the idea of gratitude, they lose faith in everything. Because by Paroi over there, it says also that he forgot about the favors of Yosef, and then it says he forgot about Hashem as well. Yaakov Avinu came to teach us something very important. If you can't show appreciation to a person who you could conceptualize and show them gratitude, how are you going to show gratitude towards Hashem? It's very nice that we say that Hashem is the resource and we have to be thankful to Him and to Him only, and everyone else is just a messenger. But we need to learn that. We need to have some kind of a method of understanding that, being that it's so conceptualized, we don't see Hashem. And Yaakov Avinu is teaching that. He tells Lavan, I see through you. I see you're throwing Hashem into this mix, and actually all over the rest of the Torah, Lavan never mentions Hashem again. So I see through you, Lavan. I see you just trying to use this as a shtick, as a way to con me into staying with you another 7 years or more. So I'm telling you, first show gratitude towards me. I want something for my own house. I need to start building wealth for myself, not just for you. 14 years I worked for you. You made all that money. I didn't get anything out of it. I did. I got Rachel, Leah, the most. That's important. But on a financial level, where Lavan was coming from, Yaakov Avinu is trying to show him, don't throw Hashem into the mix until you can't show gratitude towards people. And that's a beautiful lesson that we learn. We know, and we've learned this in this shir, that we have to show appreciation to Hashem. We know Hashem is the one, the provider of every single thing. It doesn't mean that you have to stop thanking people. We spoke about that. But over here, the exercise is that we do thank people for every single thing in our life. Because once we start thanking and being more, as a thankful person, we're grateful for things, then we can learn how to be grateful towards Hashem to a concept that we can't see. We can't see Hashem. We know He's there. We believe that, and we know in our heart fully that He's there. But it's much more difficult to be grateful towards Hashem when you can't see Him. But when you practice being grateful towards other people, eventually you're going to have more and more gratitude towards Hashem. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today. Have a wonderful, a beautiful Shabbos. And as always, I love you all.